Hey everybody, Tony from Unskippable Cutscene here, and today's installment of our End of Dragons meta mini-series will be all about the Untamed. While it does seem like a fun open world or PvP class, the Untamed doesn't seem like something we're going to be seeing a lot of in the End of Dragons endgame. Let's dive into it and break down why that is. The Untamed doesn't interact with allies much, so we're going to see pretty low party boon access percentages here because everything is single target. Here we've got some low tier access to Might and Fury, assuming the Ranger is the one who's unleashed. Next, we've got the defensive boons, and the Untamed honestly has pretty bad access here even just for themselves. Aegis is inaccessible, a tiny amount of regeneration and protection are accessible through utility skills while the pet is unleashed, and moderate self-only resolution is available through Forest Fortification. For the mobility boons, the Forest Fortification Elite is the only contributor to all of these effects. The 10 stacks of stability provided for 10 seconds push the stability access to the top of the chart, but there is a long cooldown and it is of course applied only to the Untamed. Not captured here is the access to super speed, which is actually the best out of the End of Dragon specs. Finally, we've got the utility boons. With no access to alacrity and little access to quickness, the Untamed can barely support themselves, much less a group of allies. If you're enjoying this, consider dropping the video a like and subscribing to the mini-series. Moving on to the single target half of the video, the Untamed comes in at 86% of the benchmark relative average skill power coefficient. This is the dead center of the pack. Next up, the Untamed has the best access to poison, beating out the Spectre and the Harbinger. Vulnerability access is also good, and no, this does not include the access to self-applied vulnerability from that horrible mutate condition skill. Soft control is actually pretty decent. For endgame content, this should help chip away at those Defiance bars at a pretty steady rate. The Untamed is also in a good place for hard control. They're tied with the Willbender for the best access to knockdown, and also boast decent daze access. You'll notice that there's an other effect listed here, and that's from the 4-second cage created by Nature's Binding, which is similar to the Dragon Hunter cage and can't simply be walked through. Bringing it full circle, on paper, the Untamed is pretty undiversified in its damage access. Since it can only buff itself, the Untamed can absolutely not fill any sort of support role. Finally, the one upside of the Untamed is the control access, which can help speed along breaking Defiance bars in PvE and locking down enemies in competitive game modes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next up in our mini-series will be the Bladesworn, so we'll see you then!